Hey guys, welcome back. My name is David Adams, and you're back with episode number 5 of Reading Seth. This is actually a blog post from May 2002. There'll be 2 of them. And like I said, I do want to do a quick thing as an intro. I'm trying something a little bit new on the next couple of episodes for a little bit of inside baseball deal to you and admission of guilt. A lot of what I've been doing for the last few of them is something get used to it. I've been reading a lot of it from something called Oratory, which is more of a teleprompter type application and software. Like I said, it's actually worked out pretty good. I've actually kind of written up most of the script for what the episodes were. This one I'm going to take a little bit differently, and I'm going to try to do it a little bit ad hoc. I've got a few notes that I'll be following along with, but largely what I'm going to be doing is functionally, I've already read the post that you're going to see that I'm reading for Seth, but somewhat of these interactions that I do, both in the intro, the close, and then somewhat interspersed in between, they're going to be more ad hoc and whatnot, and then I'll be splicing them together for the actual video. But it's a little bit different way of doing it. If you notice a difference to it, definitely let me know if you like it or dislike it. It's kind of an interesting thing. I've not done it this way before, so I'm actually looking forward to it. It's a little bit more patterned in the way that my speech works. There could be some situations where I use a lot of the filler words. I'm trying to avoid those. Definitely highlight them when you catch the ums and the ahs. Trying to get better at that. But for episode number 5 for this month, May 2002, we're going to be reading 2 of Seth's blog posts. First one is Getting From Here to There. It was on May 16th. And the second one is going to be A Giant Step Backwards from May 22nd of 2002. And I'm going to largely be reading along, and some of these comments that I'll be making are basically just interspersed and jumped in there. I'm hoping this will be a little bit more interactive, so we'll see. But with that, we'll start with Getting From Here to There, which was read on May 16th of 2002. I saw a bumper sticker that I really liked. It said, "Is it transportation or a lifestyle?" Of course, you never see a bumper sticker like that on a Mercedes. It was on a beater of a Subaru, naturally. Quick aside, that is true. The whole Subaru thing. It's always interesting to me that the drivers of the Subaru, man, they are a club, and they know it. And it's always been kind of funny to me. I might have had a service station when I was growing up. The folks that drove in with the Subarus, they knew they were part of the club. It's kind of like a Jeep. Then I noticed that the Wall Street Journal is now running a regular feature on which celebrities and industry luminaries are buying which cars and in which cities. It's a little odd. If you think about it, here's one of the biggest purchases the average person makes, and we're interested in what famous people are endorsing for our decision. But then the real question hit me. The car dominates our culture. It has a huge impact in our cities, on our balance of trade, on the environment, on world politics. If everyone gave up SUVs and drove a hybrid, we'd essentially be independent of foreign oil, and the threat to the atmosphere would virtually disappear, as would asthma, smog, etc. But almost no one is suggesting this is a potential solution. Why? Because somehow we've marketed ourselves this formula. Cars equals self-esteem. I love my Miata. I drive it with a smile on my face, and I like to believe that I really drive it the way that it was intended to be driven. Of course, SUV users like to justify their purchase in exactly the same way I do. Why do we care so much about what we drive? I certainly don't give the same thought to my shoes or what kind of pen I use. What would happen if there were no choice in car except for the paint job? Imagine for a second that all the time and money and competitive drive we put into buying, cleaning, improving, tuning, and tweaking our cars needed to be spent in other ways. What if you could get a big car, a slow van, or a little car, a slightly less slow sedan, and that was it? In our post-industrial age, would this radical government intervention grind capitalism to a halt? In the name of national security, world peace, and environmental longevity, it's an interesting thought exercise, isn't it? From a marketing point of view, the discussion is even more interesting. When you take away an expensive option of expressing self-esteem, cars say, human beings quickly find substitutes. It might be Timberland boots downtown or Prada bags uptown. Both are ridiculously overpriced for the utility they deliver, but it's the brand that matters, the label, the image, the peace of mind. How do some marketers create this while others fail? Quick aside, guys, and we may talk about this a little bit at the end. The one that he didn't do, and it's kind of interesting because in 2002, as we talked about in a couple of episodes, this is really before the whole big iPhone. The iPod's there, but before the iPhone and really before the iMacs became big and the iPads, man, Apple has done this in spades. We can laugh about the Subaru drivers that are somewhat the part of the club, but definitely the whole Apple deal, it's definitely a club of Apple users. I happen to use an Android myself, but I get it. My work phone is actually an iPhone, so I understand it. But for the folks that are Apple adherents and Apple promoters, dude, that they know it, and they're part of that club. Back to the post. I think when traditional marketers talk about brand, this is what they mean. A true brand is something where the self-esteem value far exceeds the utility. It might be Heinz ketchup, or a Rolex watch, or a Marlboro cigarette. But in each case, there's a truly emotional connection between the brand and the user. Alas, almost all marketers fail ultimately in creating a brand. The allure of a powerful brand, Disney, appears to keep the non-winners, Six Flags, plugging away. Seth jumped into this in one of our previous episodes, I believe, or it may be one that's coming up. I know I've already actually read it and discussed it, but the whole discussion between Disney and Six Flags is interesting. And he makes the comparison in his actual blog post of the point of which one is it that 10,000 girls every year get married at? And that's how you know who won. I'm way off the topic of cars here, but I'm really not. What I'm worried about are the side effects, the unintended consequences of excellent branding. I'm not in favor of the government getting in the middle of this, but I sure wish I could figure out how to market our way out of this problem. It's one of the great tragedies of our profession, in my humble opinion. Okay, guys, next up, we'll go to A Giant Step Backwards. That's from May of 2002, and it's a giant step backwards. Today's Wall Street Journal features an article by Stacey Forrester about marketers trying to polish spam's rusty image. I'm just astonished at how naive the writer of the article is and scared that it will send the wrong message to honest marketers. She writes, legitimate businesses that look to email as an effective marketing tool without realizing that no legitimate business uses spam as a tool for long. It doesn't matter if you're selling diamond mines, weight loss tools, penis surgery, or refrigerator dehumidifiers, spam is going to take your brand down. How? By creating brand rage, not brand equity, in the 99.9% of the people who don't respond. For every order you manage to coerce out of someone, you're burning your brand with 100 others. The article is filled with bad analysis and shady anecdotes from everyone except Jason Catlett of Junkbusters, who understands that spam is like shoplifting. Yet, like shoplifting, yep. If you steal a $20 item from Macy's, it's not going to bankrupt them. But if 1,000 or 10,000 people did that every day, it would bring the store to its knees. 1 or 2 or even 10 pieces of spam a day don't ruin someone's email account, but 1,000 will. If spam's image gets polished and it is virtually free, why shouldn't we expect that it will happen? We need to do everything we can to keep spam's image not just rusty, but toxic. Hey guys, big amen to that. I definitely want spam to stay rusty and toxic. I'm glad that Gmail gives me a spam filter and that crap stays out. Honestly, it hurts my feelings none to the less that Gmail throws that crap away after 30 days. And if they don't, I will. We definitely need to keep that as a toxic image. Spam is just nothing but a waste of our time. It's interesting that this whole topic is about that. And I kind of agree with Jason Catlett of Junkbusters when he actually made the point that spam is a lot like shoplifting. You're stealing my time to even have to read it. We'll finish up the post. Consumers see spam as a sign of disrespect and dishonesty. It's not about privacy. It's about taking something from me, my attention, my time, without costing your company a cent. If you're a marketer, just stop. If you're a consumer and you get spam from a legitimate company, call them up and let them know how angry you are. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you have to start weaseling your way through the fine print of the privacy policy or justifying your spam in any way, you're jeopardizing your brand and your business. You can do better. Cool, guys. Definitely it's interesting that we've had 2 posts today from May of 2002. One, which is getting from here to there, which is really talking about the value of a brand. and actually what it can actually do if you can build and develop your product or your service or whatnot into one. And then it's interesting that his second post from talking about the giant step backwards is actually ways that you can actually destroy your brand. I think that really today, and this is actually in April of 2018. I'm reading something from almost 16 years ago, exactly to the day. This is in the mid-April range of 2018. It is interesting that this is when Mark Zuckerberg, who has one of the biggest names now, big brands on the planet, Facebook, has been getting pulled through everything, talking about how they actually used people's data from Facebook. Interesting. From my perspective, I don't have an issue with Facebook. A lot of people probably look at it from where Seth's talking about spam and how it's actually destructive to the brand. And I think there has been some damage to the Facebook brand as far as just the publicity it's been getting from it. Personally, from my perspective, I don't have an issue with what Facebook has done. We downloaded their application for free, and we're the ones that have largely been taking pictures and putting posts about what we ate or where we went or where our vacation was the last 2 years. When you basically give your information away for free, you shouldn't be upset that somebody else uses it, especially when they tell you they're going to. Now, I get to some extent when Seth talks about having to dig through the details of your privacy policy to even justify what you're doing. I think there are some folks who can actually look at it and reasonably say that to some extent that's what some of the issues that Zuckerberg and Facebook has been getting with some of these behaviors with Cambridge Analytica and whatnot. But now, from my perspective, just sitting in I don't look at the two as the same. And we can basically, when you're essentially telling everybody what you do, what you like, and what you want, I'm not sure that we can be too upset when somebody actually writes that down and uses it for something. If you want it to be a secret and be private, you don't need to talk about it. But hey guys, this is going to be a wrap for May of 2002. Definitely stay tuned. Episode 6, that's June of 2002, is coming up shortly. Any links that I did today or any particular references or whatnot, as always, are going to be in the bottom in the description. And likewise, definitely hit the subscription link on your right. I definitely want you to subscribe to the channel and be aware of any things that actually get added and put into the channel going forward. But again, my name's David. This is Reading Seth. You've been listening to episode 5, and episode 6 is coming up. Thanks, guys. Catch you later.